Fine, okay. Good evening, one and all present here. And I'm inviting Revamp family. Today, every day, very special days, we are conducting some kind of special talks. And today also, we are so lucky. We have so special scholar, Shreya. She's a no, nothing. She's talking about you and yourself. Uh, okay, I'm not trying this conversation and directly hand over the mic to Freya.
Yes.
Yes, Freya.
Thank you. Thank you, Isti. Thank you very much. So, I see a lot of people that I know here and some new faces. So I'll just give a quick introduction about me and my topic. My name is Shreeya Menon. I'm currently doing my PhD from the Department of Psychology in Delhi University. And I was an alumni of Rajiv Gandhi National Institute. And yes, I would like to thank Revamp and Ilaya and everybody else who actually got me on this platform to share something that I was longing to share, and I thought we should talk about it because most of us have been not talking about ourselves for a very long time. So before I begin, I would ask all of you to mute your mics so that just that we are not disturbed with other noises and background noise. Okay, so if anybody wants to probably interrupt and or ask a question or whatever, you could unmute yourself and ask a question, or you could put it on the chat box and Isti will just tell me what question has come up and would direct the question to me. All right, so before I begin with my topic, I will be going off the video so that I can just the quality of the voice is also better and everything else is better, and you don't look at me while I'm talking, you concentrate on what stuff I'm talking about. All right. So yes, let's talk about you. Okay, so I didn't have the chance to attend my friend Kalki's talk the other day, but I did have a look at it on YouTube, and she was amazing, and kind of she put me into a place where the stuff that I'm going to talk about would align with hers. So I hope I do justice to what she spoke. Although I'm not going to talk about life lessons, but yes, something that I'm going to speak about is you and your feelings, like my slide says. So we'll be talking about you and your feelings today. Okay, so I would like to know your inputs, as in what did you think when you heard of the topic you? Anyone who would want to share? Anyone who wants to share when you like what did come to your mind when you heard the topic you? Because I'm sure it was very vague. I'm sure it didn't give you what you were looking for, and yeah, if nobody has to answer, we can just go ahead. Okay, somebody says on the okay, yeah, it's about us in the pandemic situation. Okay, anybody else?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we feel like everything, and sometimes it's like nothing.
Okay, may I know who's speaking?
Hi, it's me, Kyle. your roommate.
Okay, hi. Oh, hi, Kyle. Yes, okay. Yeah, you said sometimes it is. Sorry. Hello? Can you hear me? Did we?
Excuse me,
Kyle, can you
sorry.
repeat?
Yes,
Sometimes we feel we are everything,
right?
and often it will make you feel like nothing. It's like kind
Oh,
of
right.
nothingness and everything.
Okay, good. Oh, right. Yes. Interesting. Okay. Someone else says it sounded like other when we speak. Okay, right. Okay, I think we can move ahead. So when I thought of a topic, and when Shrikal asked me to talk about something that that we would want to talk about, I kind of sat and thought that what should I talk about, and then I realized we should talk about all of us. We should talk about how we feel, right? Because this is a topic that we usually don't speak about. So why not talk about our feelings, right? So, yes, today we are going to talk about you and your feelings because you matter and so do your feelings. All right. So, I am going to take a minute to just, go away from the video so that the quality is much better. Okay. So, the PPT will be on here and I will be simultaneously talking about it. So, if you guys have any doubts, you can, just stop me there and just go ahead. All right. Okay. Okay. So when we talk about feelings, what does one think about when you talk about feelings? Anyone? Okay, let me start. If when I say feelings, I say emotions. So anything else? Guys, I want to tell you that this is going to be an interactive session. So I need all of
Uh,
you to please
I
cooperate.
think thoughts also.
Sorry.
I think thoughts also. Like thoughts are
Yeah.
something which we associate with feelings.
Okay, okay. Thoughts. Yes, very good. May I know who's speaking?
Uh, this is Pratyay.
Okay, hi Pratya. Yes, thoughts, right? Somebody has said things going through our mind. Okay, excellent. Someone has said sorrow and happiness, sad, joy. Yes, feelings, those are feelings. Okay, yeah. So, why I thought that we should talk about this topic was because in today's times we tend to label someone as when we say that someone is emotional or when we say somebody is emotionally sensitive, we usually tend to think of it as a derogatory term. We tend to look down upon them, right? Nobody says that, oh my god, you're such a sensitive individual, you're so sensitive about your feelings and your feelings towards others, right? Nobody thinks of it as that way. So that's the first reason I thought of taking about like why I chose this topic. And I would like to share one personal example here. So I used to always I'm a sensitive person, okay, in general. And so when I was a kid, I was always told that you're too sensitive, shouldn't be too sensitive. And I kind of took that as a weakness. And when we had the chance of actually writing down our strengths and weaknesses, I put being sensitive as my weakness. But um, during the course of time, when I read, when I spoke to people, I understood that being sensitive is not bad. In fact, it's a strength that that's amazing, and I have the power to actually be sensitive to people and their emotions, right? So yes, so labeling is one of the reasons why most of the people do not want to talk about how they feel, right? So here I would like to quote Alan Watt. Alan Watts is an amazing writer, and he says that I'm quoting him over here right now. He says, if for a change we would allow our feelings and look upon their comings and goings as something as beautiful and necessary as changes in the weather, the going of night and day, and the four seasons, we would be at peace with ourselves, right? So it makes so much sense. But we we don't look at our feelings in a way that we should be looking at them, right? We're always kind of, putting them down, and then one day suddenly it's just all, like a volcano, it just bursts and it's all there, right? Okay, so yes, Isti, can we change the slide, please?
Sure.
Yes. Why should we talk about our feelings, right? Why do you think is the need to talk? One reason I already gave you was the labeling of being emotional and emotionally sensitive as being a derogatory term. Anything else that you think that we should be talking about our feelings for these reasons? Anyone? So whoever's going to talk, please, say who you are, like your name, and then you can go ahead with what you want to say. Yes. Hello. Whoever's trying to speak would need to unmute because you're all muted. Unmute
Hello,
yourself.
hello, Shreya, Sham.
Hi.
Okay. Yes. Hi, Sham. Yes. Go ahead.
Might be to be you need to be clear from whatever you're thinking and all.
Okay. That's why you need to talk about your feelings. Right. Absolutely correct. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Prakriti.
Hi. Hi, Prakriti.
So I think when we talk about our feelings, we acknowledge how we're feeling and it kind of becomes more manageable. Like we're able to control it, we're able to see things from a more clear perspective just by talking
Right.
about it.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. So yeah, that's what we're actually going to talk about, you know, addressing your feelings, right? What we're going to do is that I'm going to quickly tell you why we should talk about our feelings. If anybody else has a take on this, they can actually, I'm just quickly going to just look onto the chat box. Okay, someone says to express ourselves. Yes, excellent. Yes, to express yourself. Yes, and most of the people talk about physical things, not about emotions, right? Yeah, like they say, right? You don't, if you're feeling certain way, it's not necessary that you look that way too, right? Okay, yes. So before you understand emotions, I want you to understand three components of emotions. Okay, when I say three components, I'm basically talking about a subjective component, a physiological component, and an expressive component. So when I say subjective component, it is how you experience what you feel, right? So let's say if I am angry, right? So how am I experiencing anger, right? Everybody's anger experience is very different, right? Everybody feels angry not in every situation, right? So that's why it's called subjective. So subjective means it is unique to each individual, right? Then we go on to the physiological component. So when you're angry, how does your body react? For example, when I am angry, I start crying. That's how my body reacts. I start having tears down my eyes, and when I'm angry, when I'm furious. Okay, the third component is an expressive component, that is how you behave. Okay, so when you're angry, how do you behave when you're angry? Do you like break things, or do you just go in a corner and just sit down, or do you lash out at someone, or do you just leave the house and go around, or you take a walk, or do you exercise to get rid of that anger? So these are your behaviors, these are your actions to what you actually feel. All right, so the three components, I'll just go over them again: a subjective component, a physiological component, and an expressive component. Okay, so so when you understand these three components, you will realize that emotion is not just about one single thing. It is, these three factors go together, they are interdependent, and these three components make an actual emotion, make something that you actually feel, right? So when we go about why should we talking about emotions was, so I'll just get on to the evolutionary perspective. So our very dear friend Charles Darwin, who gave the evolutionary perspective, right? So he said that we actually felt emotions during when we were apes. Okay, so I hope you guys are aware that animals also do have emotions. When I say I'm going back to the evolutionary perspective, this when we were apes, when we saw a tiger, okay, we knew that we have to get scared of that tiger and we would react in that way, right? So the emotion that we had was fear. Okay, so we were experiencing emotions since then. Okay, so when you look back to the evolutionary perspective, you understand that we have not we are, you just don't become, you just don't start to feel just one day you wake up in the morning and you just can't say that, okay, today I feel, okay, today I'll start to feel. Okay, so you're always feeling about everything. You have emotions about everything. You have feelings about everything that happens. Okay, each and every situation. This is another thing that we do not notice it. Okay, that we'll talk about it later. Okay, another reason is emotions motivate us to take actions. Okay, so let's say you're probably scared in an exam or whatever. Okay, so probably that tension of yours, there are two ways. Okay, like I said, it's a subjective experience for everyone. So some people would, if you're scared of an exam, people would study more, and probably that will motivate them to study. That scariness, that fear would help them study. Okay, another population would probably go berserk with what with with the stress that they're going through before the exam, right? So the next thing is it helps us survive, thrive, and avoid danger. Like I gave you an example. So these days, let's take the lockdown example. So most of the cities are having animals roaming around freely, um, on the roads, right? And because we've encroached their property, which is their property, and we've encroached it, they have decided that just get lost, humans, we are going to come back to our property. So you see them chilling around on roads, right? So when you see a leopard, what do? What's your first instinct? You'll be scared for life and you want to run, right? Yeah, somebody says leopard came on Hyderabad Road. Yes, Sham. Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. So when you see a leopard on a road, what's your instinct? You want to run away, right? Or let's say that you're scared and you want to see that you survive the leopard attack, right? Another reason why we should be talking about emotions is to allow other people to understand us. Okay, the moment you start talking about your emotions, the moment you start talking about it, you allow others to understand you as a person. Okay, so when I say Shreeya, okay, I am not Shreeya. Shreeya is made up of a lot of emotions and feelings and traits and attributes, right? So like we used to do this fun activity during our class. We used to be like, okay, what is your quality? And okay, and what do you think is Shreya's quality? Okay, so someone would say that Shreya is cheerful or Shreya is naughty or whatever. Okay, so describing ourselves. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Yes, okay. So, yeah. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So, other people to understand us. Okay, that's the reason why we need to talk about our emotions, right? And the second thing is allowing us to understand other people. Emotions let your feelings let you understand about others. Okay, so guys, here's a quick reminder. We just have like 7 minutes left. So when we have less than like a minute left, we would be going off and then rejoining the meeting. I hope all of you guys rejoin, because I have some activity stuff for you after we are done with this. Okay, so please let me know. All right. Okay, yes. Okay, so that's about why we should talk about our feelings. Can we have the next slide, please?
Sure.
Okay, understanding what we feel. when I say understanding what we feel, many of us struggle to actually understand what we are feeling, right? So why does that happen? Okay. Why do you think that happens? Do you think that what we think we feel is the actual understanding of it? Can anyone can answer? You can answer in person or in the chat box, guys.
Hi, Shri. This is Sandhya.
Hi, Sandhya.
I think a lot of times we don't understand what we feel because I think we have a whole lot of an array of emotions coming to us all at once sometimes as a
Right,
response to a particular situation.
right.
And especially when people who do not know how to discriminate between your thoughts and your feelings, a lot of times we confuse what we think is what we feel.
Right, excellent.
So when you do not know how to discriminate between your thinking and your feeling, that's one problem why we do not understand what exactly we feel. And I think
Mm.
the second thing is a lot of time it's not one emotion, it's a lot of emotions together.
Yes.
Maybe two or three emotions as a reaction to a particular situation.
Right. Yes, thank you. Someone says, I think we really don't know what we feel during bad situations, and we take our anger on other person and behavior changes. Right. So we'll talk about anger. Most of the time we won't focus the core issue causing problems in our life. Yes, thank you very much. So understanding what we feel, okay, is why do we struggle to understand how we feel? Right, we'll be looking at that in the next slide. So here I just wanted to give you an outline about what we're going to do next. All right, so Isti, can we have the next slide, please?
Just a sec.
Yes. Yes. So somebody says mostly our feelings are what affects the mind, and emotion, like emotions, have different scopes. Feelings merge with what we express as a result to the situation. Excellent. Yes. So mostly when we go through a feeling, it's not just one feeling. Sometimes they are a mix of many emotions, a mix of many feelings, and being able to identify each one of them is a task. Okay. Yes, that's why identifying the accurate feeling, the struggle is real. Yes, when I say the struggle is real, it is it. So it only comes with practice. And this happens, why are we not able to identify the accurate feeling? Right. So one possibility is because we've never had the accurate vocabulary to do that. Right. Nobody taught us that, you should be talking about this, and this is how you should be talking about your feelings. Nobody told us that. Right. So we don't have the accurate vocabulary. Like, for example, if I am angry, maybe I'm not angry, I'm disappointed, but I don't have the vocabulary to say that I'm disappointed. Okay, so I just say I'm angry. Okay, so when you don't actually point out to the actual emotion, the accurate emotion that you're speaking about, it's going to be unattended. Okay, the second possibility is that uh, most of our feelings are surface level feelings. Like Sandhya also mentioned, that most of the times we have two or three emotions that are mixed together, and you can, because we don't have the vocabulary for it, because we don't have a nuanced language for it, we don't know how to pick those emotions and address them separately. Okay, so I'll give you an example where a person is in a meeting with the boss, and the boss keeps talking about her failures and keeps telling the other members of the group that she's useless and she's not been doing anything. Okay, at that particular point, she is the person there who is being targeted is feeling angry, right? But she's also feeling other emotions, like probably disappointment in her own self. She's also feeling scared, okay, of losing her job. Okay, so it's not possible for her to just address her feeling of anger. She has to address the feeling, those three feelings separately, of disappointment, anger, and scare. Okay, she has to address those feelings separately to actually feel better of herself, right? Yeah, so that's the second thing. And the third thing is, like I said, that we have most of our feelings are surface level. So you are not looking into the deeper aspects of it. It's just okay. Guys, I'm going to ask Isti to end the meeting probably, and guys can rejoin if that's possible. Isti, what is it we're supposed to do?
Sure, sure. So,
Yeah, we'll end the meeting, and guys, we can come back. We're having an activity after this. And also, if all of you could like get a pen and a paper, it would be nice.
Will
Yes,
it be
same
same
ID
link?
and password. Yes, same link, same ID and password.
okay,
Okay. So, Isti, can you end the meeting and all of us can rejoin?
sure, sure, sure.
Yes, thank you. We'll probably wait for another 5 minutes for everyone to just join, and we'll start after that.
For this time being, those who want to ask any questions, you can raise the
Yes.
question.
Yeah. You can just put it in the chat box. Okay. Is depression different from our feelings? Okay, so I would like to say that depression occurs because of not, you know, because you're not able to identify your feelings and address them. Okay, so depression is your feelings; they're not different. So anything that occurs to you is not different from your feelings. Okay, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions—they're all combined. They're all, you know, related to each other. Have I have I cleared your doubt? Okay, I think we should start. Yes, Isti?
Sure, we can start.
All
Okay,
right.
sure,
Okay. So, yes. Can I have the next slide?
sure. Just a sec.
Yeah. I want the fifth slide, okay? That says 3 ways to get a precise sense. The next one. Yes. Okay. Now that we've spoken about feelings and why we're not able to, identify our feelings, we'll talk about how to get a precise sense of our feelings. So I have jotted down 3 ways through which you can actually get a sense of what you are feeling. Okay. So the first is broadening our feeling vocabulary. All right. You see, can I have the next slide? How would you broaden your feeling vocabulary? Like I mentioned, when I say angry, there are other emotions attached to anger. Okay, or when I say happy, there are other emotions attached to happiness. So this is the feelings wheel. So I wanted to do an activity right now. Okay, like I hope you guys have a pen or a paper, or you can just use your mind also, whatever is feasible. Yes, so I want you to identify the top 3 feelings that you're actually having right now. Okay, the top 3 feelings that you're having right now, looking at the feeling chart. Okay, so let me explain this to you. So if you just look at the purple one, it says surprised. Okay, so when you're surprised, you could be actually startled, you could be confused, you could be amazed, you could be excited, or you could be shocked or dismayed, disillusioned, and it just goes on. Okay, so you look at the feelings wheel, take a reference of it, and in the next 5 minutes, take take the 5 minutes, list down your top 3 feelings that you actually feel right now, look based on the feelings wheel. Okay, and we'll have a discussion about it then. We'll have people share about it. Okay, so yes. Okay, so are we done, guys? Do I want someone? So I'm just going to share my video here, like just show my face here, so that yes. Okay, who
Yeah,
would like to share?
yeah. Hello, Shreya. This is Ilya.
Hi, Elia. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, hi, hi. So for me right now, I have picked three. That one is happy,
Okay,
the inner box, and then confident,
right. Okay,
and then energetic.
okay, good, good. Thank you, Elia. And how do you feel after writing your feelings? Did you know energetic is a feeling, or what? Do you want to share more about this exercise? That how did you feel writing your feelings from the feelings wheel?
So I haven't thought of this much words for feelings. Like
Right.
I
Yeah.
will simply say that I'm done with it. Like that, we'll go with some simple terms.
Right.
It's,
Right.
it's quite interesting.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share?
Hi, I'm Prakriti,
Hi.
and surprisingly enough, I think right now I feel withdrawn, distant, and
Okay.
skeptical, and yet I don't feel angry.
Okay, yeah. See, that's the power of the feeling wheel. So otherwise, if I had not shown you the wheel, would you actually name these emotions, or would you just go with angry?
Yeah, so the thing is, I would not have gone with angry at all. I mean, I feel like the subcategories sometimes can be sort of just like taken as a separate thing altogether. I mean, feeling withdrawn can actually mean you feel more focused. Maybe, maybe not. But so I'm just saying it may not be like something
Yeah,
related to anger per se. Maybe.
exactly. Yes. Okay. So, do you want to share about how you feel, or
Sorry.
do you want to share about what do you feel after doing this activity, or anything?
Yeah. It's nice to recognize um, the feeling and just put it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prakriti. Anybody else? Anyone else would like to share? Okay. Tuyamani says on the chat box that he feels stressed, unfocused, and joyful. Okay, these are three very different emotions, and yes. So, if you have the main idea about doing this feeling wheel activity was to make you understand the varied vocabulary of our feelings, right? So, usually we don't, like, most of you mentioned, let's say two of you mentioned that you did not know about these feeling wheels, or the feelings that have actually been mentioned on the screen. So in counseling, what we do is that we actually, when you name a particular feeling, you actually know that that's what you're feeling. Okay, so this entire vocabulary helps you to actually accurately identify what and how you are feeling right now, or maybe feeling later. So you can probably refer to this every time you are feeling confused about what you're actually feeling, or you're feeling confused about naming your emotion. You can go ahead with this feeling wheel and you can rely on this. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to ask that. Okay, Pranav says he feels empty, numb, and disappointed. Okay, Pranav, yes, I hear you. Okay, thank you for sharing. Yes. Okay. So I am going to go back to not being visible. Okay. And let's continue. Okay. So, guys, I'm glad that you guys kind of liked the activity and you guys have known about the various feelings that we have. Right. So, Isti, can we go back to the next slide, please? Okay, so here is again a list of emotions that obviously you go beyond. It says you go beyond the obvious to identify exactly what you're feeling. So it's just you could just like glance through it. Okay, yeah. So okay, let me share what I feel right now. I feel comfortable. Thank you to you guys. I feel thankful for being able to take this session, and I feel confident. Yes, that's how I feel. It feels so much better when you actually put down your feelings there, right? And when you actually know what you exactly are feeling. Okay. You see, I wanted to go back to the 3 points, the 3 ways, that slide. Yes, this one. Okay, so the first way was to broaden our feeling vocabulary, which we have done. The second one is to understand the intensity of our feelings. Okay, when I say intensity, you guys had named your feelings, right? So how intensely are you feeling it? What is the intensity of each of the emotions that you're feeling right now? Okay, so let's do another activity for that. I would like you to go to uh, I will tell you which slide. Slide number 8. Yes. Yes, right. So when I say intensity, I want you to actually, the emotions that you have said, okay, that you have, you've mentioned, I want you to rate yourself from 1 to 10. Okay. So rate yourself. Here it's just 1 to 5, and then below you can see 1 to 10. Okay. So just rate yourself 1 to 10. How strongly are you feeling the emotion? All right. So each emotion. We'll take another 2 minutes to do that, and then we'll have a sharing. Okay. Do we have any volunteer to share? You can share either on the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and talk. Anything. Okay. Kyle says her feelings are lonely, interested, and stressed. So she is 10 on 10 lonely, she's 10 on 10 interested, and she's 8 on 10 stressed. Okay. Yes. Tuyamani says he's 10 on 10 joyful, 8 on 10 depressed, and 8 on 10 stressed. Right. Guys, you should be addressing your feelings. Yeah. So, Tuyamani and Kyle, because you guys have shared, do you want to talk about, how do you feel after actually rating the emotions that you're feeling? We probably they're typing, so we'll just wait for them. Okay, Prakriti says distant, she feels 5 on 10, and she feels withdrawn 4. Okay, very good. Thank you. She says this is helpful. I'm glad it helped you. Okay, guys, since none of you are answering, I will. Okay. Okay, Ilaya says happy 10, confident 10, and energetic 8. Pranav says he feels 8 on 10 empty, 10 on 10 numb, and 6 on 10 disappointed. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you guys. So why I was wanting to share this with you is because when you actually, okay, somebody is, okay, I don't know who is it, but can you please mute yourself? All right, okay. So when I actually said intensity, um, it's because when you actually rate your emotions, you know how deeply you feel it, how urgent it is, and how strong it is, and how which emotion you want to address first. Okay, so that's the main idea of doing this. Okay, so I'm again, so we'll just have this slide. I don't want Isti to just go back. So the third way is to write it out. Okay, the third way of actually addressing your emotions, or actually okay, thank you. Yeah, so the third way to actually get a precise sense of what you're feeling is to write it out. Okay, so I'm going to share like a small story here. Okay, so I came across this article on Susan David's blog. Okay, so she's author of this book called Emotional Agility, and Yeah, so in her blog she mentioned about James Penbaker. Okay, so James Penbaker is a distinguished professor at the University of Texas, and Mr. James had a bad marriage and he was confused and unsettled. uh, that's why he sank into depression, ate less, started drinking alcohol more, and started smoking. And he actually saw his emotional weakness and became more isolated. So one day, while he was just sitting on his typewriter and just thinking about all that is happening in his life, he just decided to write freely, okay, and frankly about his marriage, his parents, his sexuality, and his career, and even his death. Okay, so whatever was bothering him, he just wrote it down. Okay, and he continued to write it. All right, and he noticed that after some days that his depression was going away. Okay, he was starting to feel lighter, and he was starting to feel liberated. Okay, so he started to see the purpose and possibilities in life. So Penbaker's own experience, okay, his writing it out, getting through his, marriage, and getting through his feelings, actually sparked 40 years of research on actual expressive writing. So research says that expressive writing allows you to actually, you know, um, release your thoughts and release your emotions in a way that you actually start understanding what you're feeling in a more accurate sense. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the research that Penbaker did. So Penbaker usually divided people into two groups, the experimental and the control group. And he would talk about ask one group to write about emotionally significant experiences, and the other group to write about common things, basically just write about a car or a pen or whatever. Okay, so participants who wrote about the emotional experiences that they had, they were varied emotional experiences that participants wrote about: sexual abuse that they had faced, or some catastrophic failures that they had faced, or breakups, illnesses, deaths, everything. Okay, they had written everything. And now the interesting part is that in each of his studies, Penbaker found that people who wrote about emotionally charged episodes experienced immense improvement in their physical and mental well-being, okay, compared to the group who wrote about just common things. Okay, so the group who wrote about emotionally charged events were more happier and less depressed and less anxious. And they also reported like better relationships and improved memory and more success at work. Okay, so Susan David also tried about these kind of activity of writing it out, and she actually, her research also started with regards to Penbaker being her role model, and that's how she started talking about emotions and emotional agility. So that's the thing. Ishti, can we have the next slide? So basically, Penbaker sparked the research of expressive writing, and I'm going to talk about how you can reflect your emotions through writing. So this is an exercise that we don't have to do right now, but you can just take a, just make a note of it. And so basically, you set a timer of for 20 minutes, and you use either a notebook or a computer, and you write about your emotional experiences that you have experienced in a day or for like 7 days or in the past months or years. You write anything, okay, anything. And you just let your thoughts flow. There is nothing, there's no grammar, there is nothing. You just write freely, okay? You don't have to be perfect. Just go where the mind takes you. And finally, what you're going to do is, after in 20 minutes, you have written everything, and after you're done writing, you're going to discard that particular paper or document. Okay, so idea here is to actually get it out of your system, get the emotions on a paper or on a document, which will help you feel much more lighter and better. Okay, so you can actually try this activity probably after this, or maybe whenever you want. Okay, yes, if can we have the next slide? Yes, now that we know about emotions, how will you communicate your feelings? Okay, communication is very important. Most of us are very bad at, communicating how we feel and what we feel. Okay, so for that, we're going to talk about something. Next slide. known as assertive communication. Okay, so when we say assertive communication, if you look at the background of this, when we say assertiveness, what is actually assertiveness? Okay, assertiveness is basically, it's a form of behavior, okay, and it can be learned. It's nothing innate, okay. Like I see most of the people telling me that I'm not an assertive person, and I don't know how to be assertive. Then it's a skill. You have to learn how to be assertive. You cannot just say that I don't have that trait in me. No, it's not like that. Okay, so assertiveness is when you're not aggressive and when you're not submissive or passive, but when you consider both and you become assertive. Okay, so it's basically what you want, okay, and what the others want. You combine both of it, and that's when you become assertive. So you are not aggressive to the person. You're not telling the person, no, I'm not going to do this for you because you did not do it for me the last time. Okay, you're not going to tell the person, okay, fine, I'll do it for you. Okay, I'm ready to do this for you. That's when you're being submissive. Okay, but if you're not able to do something, you're actually going to say that, excuse me, I'm not able to do it right now, can I do it in an hour or so, if that's okay with you? Okay, so that's being assertive. All right, so basically you are combining both the person that you're communicating with and your feelings and emotions together to create a win-win situation for the both of you. Please remember, it should be a win-win situation for the both of you, not a win-lose situation. Okay, so that's when you have to keep in mind when we talk about assertive communication. Tuyamani asks, what if after writing down also it's not helping? Then what should I do? Yes, okay. I will address this question after I finish with assertive communication. Tuyamani, please remind me that I have to, get back to you. All right. So do like do other people have any questions until here? Like you can just put it on the chat box and just ask me quickly, because then we have to move ahead. Okay, fine, no questions. Right. So I'm going to move on to
Yeah,
assertiveness.
hello Shreya. Sorry for
Yes.
interrupting you. I have a
Yeah.
question that
Yeah.
what if we don't know that what others want?
Sorry, your voice is cracking.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. What if I don't? Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What if we don't know like others want?
Yes, that's what I'm going to tell you in assertive statements. We will come to that. We will know what others want. So, the more, so let me just answer your question. So, most of the times, what we do is we just assume what others want, right? So, that's the power of communication. You have to ask the person. So, once you know how to identify your feelings, you will automatically be even able to point out the other's feelings. Okay, I even have an activity for that at the end of this session. So what I'm going to do is I'll quickly run through these, okay, and then we can do the activity. So I think probably you will get a more precise answer to your question, right? Hello. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Shreya.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So when I talk about assertiveness training, so it's basically used to teach people more helpful ways of expressing their needs and views, and also understanding others needs and views. Okay, so basically it helps people decrease distress in various situations. It can be confusing because a behavior that is assertive in one circumstance may not be in another. Okay, so probably if a person is angry, okay, that's why understanding of feelings is so important. Okay, so let's say you and I are having we are having a chat, or I am angry, and then that's when you want something from me. Okay, and then you just cannot come and ask me that, this is what I feel and I don't want to respect your feelings anymore. Okay, that's not how it works. So when I am feeling angry, you have to let me be, acknowledge how I'm feeling. If you are feeling angry, you acknowledge how you're feeling. The basic thing over here is that you actually acknowledge what you feel. Most of us do not acknowledge what we feel. We are always, just skipping our emotions and just not, just leaving them apart and not taking care of ourselves, right? Okay, yeah. So next we go on to is the principal cause of poor assertiveness. So according to research, the most fundamental cause would be that the attachment to our sense of self, right? So what people essentially are trying to assert in their life is anything that follows mine, and therefore is a part of me, as in my views, my values, and my choices, my needs, etc. Okay, so that's when you actually, you are not being able to be assertive, because you have this sense of um, attachment to yourself, that my needs, my views, my opinions. Okay, so this can take like this can go in two directions. Let's say that attachment to a sense of self can make us um, let's say that like we should not upset other people, right? We might think that we're so attached to ourselves that we might think that we should not upset other people by telling the truth or expressing what we okay. But you also have to be careful that if somebody is not cooperating with you but have just listened to you, okay, you have to only acknowledge that person for the listening part and not for the cooperating part. All right, because when you even acknowledge the person for the cooperating part, they'll start take you for granted, and that's when you start becoming submissive. You'll no longer be assertive. Okay, so all these submissiveness, assertiveness, aggressiveness, they're all so much intertwined, and understanding this only comes with practice. Let me just tell you again. Okay, and the final one we are going to go through is negotiate a win-win situation. So when I say a win-win situation, that's what assertiveness means. When it's cannot be a win-lose. You cannot say that, okay, fine, I will win and the other party is going to lose, or vice versa. That's not how it happens. You have to compromise for both the parties. Okay, and when you mean win-win, win-win actually mean win-win. All right, and there would be situations where you would need to negotiate, where would you need to hello, somebody is, I don't know. Okay, where you would need to negotiate, where you would want people to cooperate with you, but you have to make sure that you don't be submissive. When you are being submissive to the person will take you for a ride, and then that's about it. Okay, your feelings will not be addressed, your wants and needs will not be addressed. Okay, so that you have to take care of. You have to also be prepared that some situations will be unresolved, and you have to be prepared for it by just being okay with that. Okay, and that will come with practice. When you start addressing your feelings, when you actually start noting down what you're feeling, you will address that some unresolved issues can also be there, and you can let them be that way. You don't have to solve everything, right? Okay, yeah, so that's about it about the 7 assertive statements. Does anybody have any doubt about the 7 assertive statements? If no, then we can go on to the next slide. You see, can we have the next slide? Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly finish this, and this is the last part of this session. And whatever doubts you have, meanwhile, you can put it on the chat box, or you can ask me later. All right. Yeah. So the feelings rate. The feelings rate is basically, so as counselors, we do this activity to better understand our clients and their feelings. Okay. And simultaneously also addressing our feelings. Okay, so it's a small activity that you can do. If some of us could do, actually if all of us could do it, it would be nice, and some of us sharing it would be good. We could just take another 5 minutes to do this. It's a very nice activity if you do it with a lot of interest. So the first thing says is, what does the person feel? So the person here is your friend or partner. You can think of any situation that you have had with a friend, or with your partner, or with your mother or your father, anybody. Okay, any situation that you have had, you can just think of that situation. All right, and what you have to do is, you have to think, okay, just a minute. What we seriously don't know how to state what we want. Can you feel better, can you better describe what you're asking, Kyle? just put it on the chat box, just elaborate your question, and I will, I will get back to you. Okay, so just let me explain the feelings grid to you. So what does a person feel once you've thought about a situation that you want to address? You think about that person, and you will write what you thought the person actually, what the person feels. Okay, let's say that I thought about a fight that I had with my friend, and I say my friend was sad. Okay, that's what the person tells you, that my friend tells me that I'm sad. Okay, and that's actually what you write. Then you go on to the next grade, which says that what do you feel, what do you feel, okay, while communicating to the person. All right, so you're going to write your surface level feelings there. Then you are going to go on to what do you actually feel. Okay, you're going to describe it with the feeling word that we saw on the feeling wheel. Okay, what do you actually feel? All right, and the fourth grid says that what do you think the person actually feels. Okay, basically you're trying to identify their feeling and confirm it with them through a feeling word. Okay, if I hope you have got me. Okay, so yes, if you could do this activity and get back. It can be any situation. It can even be an imaginary one. That's all right. So practicing this feelings grid will actually give you a sense of what you feel, what your actual feeling is, and what your partner or your friend or your neighbor or parent feels, and what they're actually feeling. So the basic idea of this activity is that when you state what you're feeling, and when you see it on a surface level, they're two different things. So you will address the actual feeling instead of addressing the surface level feeling. The same thing goes with the other person also. When you try and understand what they feel, okay, and when you actually address that, the actual deeper feeling that they're going through. Okay, you must have seen that your friend is angry that you're not going out with them, but when you actually talk to your person and you ask them, are you disappointed that I'm not going out with you, you get that exact feeling word, and that's what catches them. Okay, and that's what, like, bang on, there you go, you have identified exactly what I feel. Okay, it gives you a lot more leverage to communicate and be free in the relationships that you have. Okay, so has anyone finished doing it? Does anybody want to share? This is the last part of the session, and just I have just another small thing to do, and then we're done. Okay, Tuyamani says, unknowingly our ego gets in way and situations get more worse. What should we do then that time? During that time, when we can't think of. Exactly. So that's why when your ego gets in your way, that's when you're actually, this activity of writing down will help. Okay, the initial writing it out activity that I had mentioned. Okay, when you write your feelings down, you will actually understand what you're feeling. Okay, like even without writing it down, once you practice it, you will understand that. And when you say, like I already mentioned, that some issues can be unresolved, and over here you have mentioned, okay, that your ego comes in your way and situation get more worse, right? So if you feel that time that this situation is not the correct one to actually negotiate, okay, you tell the person that, look sir, ma'am, this is not the right time to speak about this. I am having I feel sad, or I feel disappointed, I feel taken aback, and I need my time to actually think about it and get back to you. This is where you're being assertive. Okay, instead of just giving up or just being submissive or aggressive. Okay, like I said, it will only come with practice. You do not have to feel bad about the way you think or the way you feel. You will not attribute your feelings or your thoughts to someone else. You take responsibility of being yourself. That's why today's topic is you. Okay, you is because you take charge of your feelings and your thoughts, right? Okay, I hope I have answered your question. Okay, Kyle, it's like not being able to state everything. It may be more number of issues are being tried of all the time, or it's quite disgusted, not confident to share at all. Right. Okay. So is Kyle, what in what sense are you talking? Okay, so you are you saying that you do not want to share because you know of these things? Have I got you right? Okay, we let Kyle reply. Yeah, okay, that is, you're completely free to not reply. Like if you're not feeling comfortable, if anyone for that matter is not feeling comfortable, this is the safe space. If you don't feel comfortable to share anything, it's okay. But yeah, there's no, yeah, she has tried. Okay, that's absolutely fine, Kyle. I'm glad you tried, but it's all right. So anybody else who wants to share? The person is confused and getting angry for everything, then how win-win will work? Okay, yes. So if the person is confused and angry, you address the confusion and the anger first. So you address the feelings. Okay, so only when you address the feelings can you go to your thoughts. All right, so if you are going to act like you are confused and you're angry, okay, it's not going to work for you. You will not be able to take a win-win in that matter. Okay, if you're confused, when you state that you're confused, when you realize that you're confused and you're angry, you're going to tell, like I responded to your money, you're going to tell that person, sir, ma'am, or like, you know, whatever, I feel confused and I'm angry. State it. Okay, state it out loud that this is how I feel. Okay, and I need my time to not talk about it right now. Okay, so you give a leverage to the other person also to even get into that situation and to even help you in that situation. So when you, what happens is, like we saw before in the 7 assertive statements, that when you speak your what you feel and what you think, you help the other person, let you experience you as an individual, let them experience what you actually feel. Okay, what you're going through. All right. And guys, let me tell you that this is a process, and we will, like, even I am not, you know, pro at being assertive. I have my friends telling me always to be assertive and not be submissive. So yes, it's a process. I have been practicing. Yes, so that's about it. You have to know. You will get it once you start practicing. Okay, so since nobody, I just want to ask once more. Does anyone want to share? Okay, guys, if none of you are feeling comfortable in doing so, I would, you know, just ask you to just keep a note of this, of the feelings grid, and do it in your own time. Take your time to do it. Take your time to write it down. So the next time you have anything, or, you know, doing, okay, can you share this PPT? Yes, I will. Yes, I can give it to you. Can take it from HT, probably. HT, you share the PPT, or you guys can
Sure,
actually
sure.
click a picture also if you want of this. Okay, so that you have it with you. So every time you don't know how you're feeling or how the other person is feeling, you can just, you know, refer to the feelings grid. All right. Okay, so Isi, can we have the next slide? Okay, guys, so we are coming to, we have actually come to an end of, you know, this thing. And so this is one of my favorite quotes by Viktor Frankl. It says that between stimulus and response, there is a space. Okay, in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. So basically, what this means is that you have the power to choose what you want to feel. Or like even my friend Kalki in her last I think in her last session spoke about the power of feeling what you want to feel and how you respond to it. Okay, so if I am sad, I can choose to, you know, be in a corner and cry. Yes, that is valid. You can cry about it. You should, even if you feel like grieving, you can. But you cannot tell a person that, you know, you shouldn't be sad, because just so that, you know, you just cannot tell a person that you just cannot be sad. That's not how it works. Okay, so I hope after this session you guys will be able to be more empathetic towards others feelings and towards your feelings. The main idea of this session was for you guys to understand emotions, to understand your feelings, and moreover to understand, try to understand your feelings so that you can understand others and yourselves better. Okay, so yes, so I really like this quote about Viktor Frankl about choosing your own response and um, you know responding in a way that you want to. Okay, yes, so next slide. Okay, so we are going to conclude with a meta prayer, right? Okay, so basically, what is a meta prayer? So it's like a Buddhist tradition. It comes from Buddhism. Its roots are in Buddhism. And so basically, metta is a word in Pali, okay? And it basically means that general goodwill, you're sending in general goodwill or kindness. Or so metta prayer is a form of meditation where you can silently recite this prayer, and it's basically designed to open your heart and to cultivate a friendly attitude towards oneself and towards others. Okay, so I would like to conclude with this metta prayer, and wherever you guys are, just want you to don't unmute yourself, just repeat it silently so that we send in the positive vibes to each other and we close the session like that. Okay, so I'll just read it out. May I be at ease in my body, feeling the ground beneath my seat and feet. May I be attentive and gentle toward my own discomfort and suffering. May I be attentive and grateful for my own joy and well being. May I move towards others freely and with openness. May I receive others with empathy and understanding. Yes. Okay, that's it. So Istiak has shared okay, I have some. Okay, what if you're feeling indecisive at many situations? Okay, Shrikala, yes. So if you're feeling indecisive at many situations, that is completely fine. You have to know that you have to acknowledge your indecisiveness. Okay, and you can work on your decision making skills. Okay, so that shouldn't be, so basically what I try to do is not provide a solution immediately. I like to stay with the feeling for some time, talk about it, talk about why you're feeling indecisive, how does it happen, how often does it happen, what happens, how does your body react when you're indecisive. So I like to talk about those things first and then get to the solution. So once you feel that you're feeling indecisive, stay with it for some time, acknowledge that you're feeling indecisive. Once you acknowledge that, once your body and your brain know that you've acknowledged what you're feeling, okay, then you can go ahead with the solution, okay, of what do you do next now. Was this question about in general or in relation with assertive communication? If it was in general, I have answered your question, I guess.
Yes, it was in general.
Yes, okay, all right. Okay, anybody else, if you guys have any questions, I'm also going to put down my, yes, Tuyamani, you can ask a question. I'm going to just put down my email ID here. If you guys want to connect or something, you can connect with me here. Tuyamani, you can go ahead and ask your question. Okay, when you get depressed, it gets converted into physical pain. Yes, it is absolutely natural to, right, it's absolutely natural to feel physical pain. Depression is not easy, guys. So feeling depressive or feeling sad or helpless is not something like, it's not a fun thing to do, right? So yeah, when you do that, it's absolutely okay to feel the physical pain. It's absolutely okay to have headaches, and you have to understand it's that your emotional reactivity that is actually showing it in your physical sense, like your physical pain. Okay, but it's very important, like I'll always say this and I will say it again, it is very important to stay with the feeling. Okay, do not, guys, do not rush to solutions. Okay, we do not want to have 1 or 2 minute instant solutions. 1 or 2 minute instant solutions will get you back to the same thing again. Okay, and depression has to be handled in a very different manner. Okay, so yeah, so when I talk about that, you have to stay with the feeling, to your money. You have to acknowledge that yes, I am feeling the pain in my hands, I am feeling the pain in my head, I have a headache because I am feeling sad, helpless, etc., etc. Okay, and I acknowledge this, I know that I'm feeling this way. Okay, so what do I do? Okay, so I hope I have answered your question. Staying with the feeling and acknowledging that is an important task that all of us have to learn. All right, so yes, I am going to leave you with this, and if anybody has any other questions, you can just put in here, or if you cannot think of any questions right now, or if you have any questions later, you can just email me. I have shared my email ID. Okay, thank you so much, guys.